disorientating, isn't it?
We're live. Get yourself orientated, Frances.
I'm not. I'm just totally lopsided. Yeah, I think maybe that's a bit better. But
I'll have to figure out how to give you your full title, Frances. I don't know how to write Frances.
I can.
Yeah, I'll have to figure that out.
I don't mind being just Frances.
Just
That's okay.
So, have you become Nanny Fran, or is it just Nanny or
I'm Nana.
Nana?
Yeah, but of course, you know what he ends up calling me will be really what I am. You know, that's Nana. That's what I'm referred to is Nana.
Nana. Oh, lovely. Oh, anyway, we better stop chatting because we've got people who have joined us.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. You're very welcome to the Rambling Tangents. And will I throw you in at the deep end again, Frances? Would you like to introduce us?
No. I know. You're so used to it. You've got the memory, the muscle memory.
So where's my muscle memory? So many moons ago, at the very start of our first lockdown. God, I mean, it really does sound like a story like that you could write and reiterate. And that's when we started. That's when we got to know each other, was at the beginning of lockdown. And and I always say this because it really is true that I started thinking that I was going to do my bit for everybody out there during lockdown as a support system, you know, under the umbrella of the Irish Online Counselling and Psychotherapy Services. And then I realized that really I was the one that was getting structure, that was making connections, that was actually having to do research and learning, that it actually turned out really beneficial for me. And I think you felt the same, Frances.
Yeah, but yes, and I take that, and I think that was maybe the surprise in it. I suppose not to discount that your hope still materialized. You know, I think there was a space held and is still being held, but I think it was the two-way that maybe we didn't appreciate that would happen.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So as a result, the Rambling Tangents were born.
Yes.
And even in spite of lockdown coming and going and coming and going, that we're still here.
Yeah. Yes. We're still here. Can't get rid of us now, you see.
And it was lovely. You just when we started, you said, "Oh, I'm really glad to be here this morning." And yeah, and it's lovely because I look forward to seeing you, Frances, because we don't connect.
No.
But we make time for this day, for this morning.
Yeah. And that is lovely. Oh, I can see Fly in the background there. She's mooching.
Wow. Is she mooching? If she was eating the child earlier, I can't see her. Her toy is there. If she comes, I hear her.
Yeah.
I see her.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is. It's lovely to make the time to be here.
Yeah. And how our, I like to say, show evolved is kind of probably from the people that join us and that ask us questions. And it seems to be very, I love this word, organic.
Yeah.
So we're here for you guys, for however best we can support you. And in the process, it makes time for us as well to connect.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is nice. The in the moment stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when we started off, I used to have piles of books, Frances, that we were going through different diagnoses and different terminologies, and now it's like, okay, so we have a few questions that we can work out, but the rest of it is in the moment.
Yeah.
So you're all very welcome, those joining us live and those watching us on catch up. I get a lot of messages after the show saying they missed us live, but they watched us catch up and really enjoyed it. So that's great. So if anybody has any questions, they can around mental health or any issues, that we're here to answer them as best we can. Both of us are qualified, registered psychotherapists, and we work with Irish Online Counselling. So that's our, and we have all different other accolades to our bows, but that's the what we're here about today.
Yeah. It's the platform we're on.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you had any questions, Frances. I know that I had one. I can't remember it.
Yeah, I know I did. Oh God, I should have gotten it up, but I had a question from a few weeks back, not a couple of weeks back, a fair few weeks back, and it was in relation to relationships, actually. You're a couples therapist, aren't you? You work with couples. Yeah. And I suppose it was about feeling like you're having the same argument over and over again. Now, I'm totally paraphrasing the actual words, but it'll take me too long to find the question. But I think that was the essence of the question. How do you get off that particular hamster wheel?
And was there any indication what the subject matter was, or?
I think, and my sense is that it's about old stuff. You know, it's not current stuff. It's old stuff that keeps, I suppose it's getting in the way of letting go.
Yeah.
Of being able to let something go.
Yeah. So almost like you keep bringing up the war.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing that must be what it's like.
Or the something, whatever. It keeps getting brought into the present.
Yeah.
Just before you answer that, just to say hello to people that are arriving in. We have Geraldine. Hiya, Geraldine. You're very welcome. We have Noreen. Hiya, Noreen. You're very welcome too. And we have Vicky. And Vicky said, it's lovely to see you both after a horrible week. You've had a horrible week, Vicky. Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that, Vicky. Yeah.
And we'll say hello to Kathy. Hello, Kathy. Kathy, I think you're new with us today. I haven't, so you're very welcome. It's nice to see new faces popping up. And Noreen is saying, sorry to hear that, Vicky, that you had a bad week. And even the camaraderie in the group with the gang that come online is really lovely. It's very heartfelt.
Yeah.
So how would you think about helping? So I suppose for me as a couples therapist, it's always about, the charge the actual thing has. Or what is it about the event that the person, so say if me and you had a fight and I keep bringing back, but you remember, Frances, when you went offline and you left me.
Yes.
And I can't let that go, because for me it had a huge charge.
Yes.
And I still feel it in the present moment.
Yes. Yeah. I love that way of putting it, Maeve. Mm.
So often then in couples therapy, I will sit with the person by themselves. So sometimes we'll separate. So instead of being the three of us, it'll be me and one person one week and me and the other person the other week. So we get a feel for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always important, I always say in couples, even though we're splitting up and having different chats, everything that we share in our one-to-one chat can be brought into the threesome chat. That there's nothing off limits. So don't be telling me any secrets, because I won't keep them.
Right. Okay. That's
So even
established from the get-go.
from the very beginning. So if you tell me anything, it's, I'm going to be bringing it back. I'm not going to be not bringing it back.
Mm.
So it's to really figure out, well, what's the charge for that person about that thing that is really that they, because it's me. I keep bringing it back to you, Francis, going, Francis, I just can't get over the fact that you left me on screen live. I mean, and you're going, oh, for God's sake, May, get over it. It's
And
a
I'm
year ago.
wondering, yeah, I'm wondering what that's like. So for the person where the charge is still very much alive, and then when, I mean, we've talked a little bit about these kind of things, these comments, oh, just get over it, like that's ancient history. Like I'm just wondering, that must be really difficult for somebody who's living it. And I suppose what I do know about this is that this person is really wanting to be able to move away from it.
Yeah.
But it finds that they can't, that there are not, can't maybe the right word, but that there's a real struggle there.
Yeah. So that's always.
Sorry, Maeve.
Go ahead.
For me, as like I don't work with couples, so I kind of be going, okay, well, what is it? If something keeps coming back over and over again, what is that? What's that? What's going on? There's something that's not quite getting the space that it needs.
Yeah.
It might be getting some space, but not quite the space that it needs. And how, but even that as just well, I don't want to say a process, but maybe an expression, maybe. What is that that's been played out?
Yeah.
But then I don't know if that tallies up maybe with something that you'd be working on within.
I don't know if you notice it even in your own practice on a one-to-one. People will come in with issues that are going around in their own head about a spouse or about a friend or about something. So it's really nice to work with the couples, because what I noticed is that the other person then hears something differently for the very first time.
Yeah. Different perspective.
Yeah. And that really helps. Yeah. And often the fact that the other person then feels heard, it just kind of.
Yeah. To be heard is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not necessarily the fixing or sorting it out, but to be heard and validated and acknowledged. It's a huge piece.
Yeah. So, I don't know if that'll help. If the person sent in the
you.
question, that helps. So Kathy was saying, Kathy, I'm just showing off because I've just learned how to do this computer thing. So Kathy has been with us before, and she says that she loves our gentle, basic conversations. Yeah, and that's it. It's like a conversation, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm.
We have conversations. Another thing that came up for me over the past couple of weeks from several different scenarios would be people saying, my friends don't understand me. My friends think I amn't trying hard enough. My friends are giving up on me. You know, if they're going through a difficult time or that they're struggling. And I remember in our training that one of the teachers was saying that friends and family aren't trained. So it can be as difficult for them listening to their loved one struggling, but not have the
Yeah.
skills to support them.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. I don't know about you, Maeve, but I love the fact that if I was never to sit with a client ever, I love what the training has given me on a personal level. I like to think that I am a bit more able to keep myself in check while maybe listening to somebody else. I don't get it all the time, but I'd like to think that for a good bit of the time that I do, because yeah, it's, we're all human.
And it can be a big burden for friends and family to carry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's very
Especially,
hard to see friends go through tough times, isn't it?
yeah. But one particular client was feeling that she was being rejected by the friends.
Okay.
So Fly is here. Do you want to come up and say hello? Do you want to come up and say hello? Come on up.
Oh, no, oh my
Look
goodness.
look how big
How
she's got.
big she's gotten. Hi, Fly.
I'm getting kisses.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Oh, Maeve, her coat is stunning, isn't it?
Doesn't she look? I'm getting kissed here. I'm getting kissed. Say hello to Francis.
She's not
So
interested in Francis. She's interested in
no,
her mummy.
she says not as handy as Charlie to put up on your lap.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's grown so much.
Yeah,
She's
she's
beautiful.
now up to the height now of the chair. You know, she's that tall. So sit down. Into bed there now. Into bed. Go into your bed. She's looking at me as if, yeah. Now you can't shout at me, she said, because you're live. Oh, so sorry, I was just distracted there with the dog.
That's okay.
Vicky's asking, is Fly a Labrador? Yeah, she's a black lab, Vicky. She's a black lab. She's 7.5 months old, and she's still got more growing to do. And she's so big.
She's gorgeous. The shine
Yeah,
off her coat is
yeah,
just beautiful.
yeah. So yeah, we were just saying it's difficult to see our family members suffering.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
friends.
and
And,
friends.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
So I
remembering
suppose,
that not everybody has the experience of, again, and it's not just the theory, but it's the sitting with, because I think it's a human instinct to want to fix or sort somebody out, make it better, when in actual fact what somebody might need is just to be heard and just for their experience to be validated, acknowledged. There's a lot of power in that.
Vicky has a golden Labrador. They're gorgeous, and called Bailey.
Yeah.
And Noreen has said, I'll just click it up here. Francis, Maeve, I love listening to you chat as it makes me. I'm sorry, will you read that, Francis? I'm getting confused.
Yeah, Francis, Maeve, I love listening to you chat as it makes me look at how I treat others myself, so I too can keep myself in check. Well, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always remembering to be gentle with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got a compliment from the floor that she's loving our hair. Thank you very much. Freshly washed
Vicky,
for going live today.
Well, mine's not so freshly washed, but I did manage to get rid of all the, I don't know, there was a lot of it a few weeks ago. There's still a lot of it, but there's a lot less.
Yeah, I call mine my lockdown locks, Vicky. I've never had hair this long, so the lockdown locks.
But whenever I see that that picture, do you remember I sent it to you of the sheep that they found in New Zealand with the big hair, the wild sheep that hadn't had a shear for years? That's how I felt. That was me.
So I'm not sure if there's any other questions from the floor today. I don't know, Vicky, if you want to talk any bit about if you wanted to share about the horrible week you had, or maybe this mightn't be the space, but or anybody else has any questions.
And how are people getting on with the restrictions that have eased, and life seems to be moving, and it's moving, isn't it?
Well,
how it's for people.
Yeah. I had to take my mum for a hospital visit in Galway, and the traffic is back.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I've really enjoyed hospital visits during lockdown.
Yeah.
But this is the first one that there was traffic jams, and so it was just nice to remember what it was like during lockdown, no traffic.
Yeah. It's one thing I do notice when I'm on the road. Like I'm no Formula One driver on the road, but you'd notice just different styles of driving on the road, and I always get curious about, okay, I wonder what life is like. What's going on for that person who's maybe going like this from lane to lane, weaving in and out, just to move up another little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There definitely is a dark side of me that comes out in traffic.
I do get a little bit aggressive though at times. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So I have to really bring myself back, do my breathing, ground myself, bring myself into the car.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I find I get like that when I'm pushed for time. So it's my stress, you know,
Yeah,
nobody else's fault that I'm late.
exactly. Um, so Noreen said that we're a pure tonic. Thank you, Noreen.
That's lovely. Is
Yeah,
that an Irish saying? You're a tonic.
probably.
I can hear my mom saying it, you know. Is it? Yeah. It's lovely. Lovely thing to
Um,
say.
you used to get the tonic, from the chemist, and they used to make up their own tonic for the winter with
Yes, yes. I did that once, you know. Um, I worked in a pharmacy, and
did you?
this particular pharmacist, yeah, I was covering for somebody years and years ago. But this particular pharmacist made his own cough mixture. So he had his ingredients and I used to make it.
Nice one. Vicky said it means you're great to have around.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, sorry, that's not the right one. This one. I helped. It means you're great to have around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, God, we're getting all the compliments today, aren't we?
Yeah. And then we have Sarah Jane, and you're very welcome, Sarah James. And she says, "Good morning, ladies. Love listening to you, Maeve. How do you both cope with the fact that what's going on is all about control?"
Could we? I'm just wondering, Sarah, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. If you could say a little bit more about the context of control that you're speaking about. And then that might, we'd be better able to answer it.
Yeah.
But I know that.
Well,
Sorry, Maeve.
no, just the word control
Yeah.
has lots of different
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
challenges.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because that's why when you were saying earlier, when you were talking about in relation to the couple, having the same argument, and you were talking about charge. I use the word charge a lot when when people talk about control. I try and explore using the word charge instead of control, so that we don't take control, we take charge. So when you were saying, when you put it in a different context, it's lovely. I don't know whether I've ever. No, I have used the word charge when there's a charge to something, but it's not something I use a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, so control is it's multifaceted, isn't it?
So I haven't heard back yet from Sarah about the context about control, whether it's control around herself or her life or the general control issues around the COVID-19 and masks, and which is again
Yes.
another which is another minefield.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But for me, with all the pros and cons and the rights and the wrongs, I have to just keep coming back to myself and seeing
Yeah.
how I feel about it.
Yeah. You see, Ruby Wax.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you've ever listened to any of her talks, but I'm sure it was her that she went back and she studied and she knows a lot about the brain as well. And one of the things that I believe it was her that said it. We as humans, we're not designed to absorb absolutely everything that's going on. Like we're really designed to deal with our little field you know. Um, and a global pandemic, it's a lot to take on. Our systems are really being hit and have been hit over a really, really long period of time.
Yeah.
So the coming back into the, okay, how can I just take care of me so I'm better able to interact with the people in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't at all mean to be ignorant or dismissive of being considerate of other people, but yeah, coming back to check in personally.
Yeah. And Sarah says, yes, she means in general the control due to COVID.
It's tough going.
Yeah. I don't know if I said it the last time that we were live, but I was talking to a client and I love imagery. And I was saying, it's like, well, whatever you have, if you have a sore toe or you're anxious about something in general, that the whole pandemic has been like a sprinkling on top of whatever issue you already have.
Yeah.
So almost like how salt enhances the flavor of the food you're eating. And that maybe the pandemic is like salt enhancing the emotions that we're feeling.
Yeah. Over a really long period of time where, we are due a breather,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily something that we're getting.
Yeah. And Noreen was saying, Francis, that's exactly what I meant earlier. There was a little delay, Noreen, so maybe it's about coming back to yourself that she's referring to. But if it's not, Noreen,
Yeah.
but it's something you said, Francis, that Noreen was trying to say. Vicky is saying, there you go, what you're saying. Something has happened to everyone I know, especially worse with COVID. I only was saying it's the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. There's very few people that go or have gone untouched. I mean, obviously there's a spectrum, but very few that I know have been untouched.
Yeah. And Noreen says, yeah, that's what she was talking about, coming back to ourselves. Thanks for that, Noreen. So I think we've often talked about that whole compassion thing for ourselves, haven't we, Francis, over the years? We can now go into plural. And it's to be mindful, that it's been a very long time. Sustained
Yeah.
trauma, really.
No, it is totally. We're not designed to withstand it for so long. And there's very little opportunity for a release or relief. I mean, I think we're starting to see little bits with the restrictions, but with the restrictions then comes what's it going to be like? So we're not totally immersing in that sense of freedom, because life is somewhat different. Not somewhat, a lot different.
They've opened back up the swimming pools, and as you know, because I'm on the crutches, I love being in the pool. And it's just the little things. They've also opened the sauna and the steam rooms.
Lovely.
And now you can also have a shower. Things you used to take for granted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's very exciting now going to the pool. You can actually have a sauna if you
Yeah.
like to go.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm.
And do you go regularly?
About 3 times a week.
Lovely. Very nice. I got into the sea last week.
In your
Oh my
togs.
God. Well, no. So I hadn't intended on getting in, but I think it was this day last week. Can't quite remember, but it was lovely. I mean, the sea was just stunning, and I just had to put my feet in. So I walked in. You want to see me? Like there was nobody around, but like I rolled up my leggings to over my knee. Anyway, it didn't matter because I walked in. I didn't care if they got wet. It was so warm and the sea was so clear, and I just walked in, and I didn't want to get out
With your clothes on.
with my clothes on. Well, now obviously, like I had nothing on my feet and up to my knees. There was nothing, but like because I kept walking, I did have wet leggings. Yeah, I was wet a lot, but sure dried off. By the time I walked back up, I was dry.
Yeah. You guys
It was
have a
lovely.
completely different weather system in the east
I
than we
know.
have in the west.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and it wasn't like majorly. I don't think was it majorly sunny. I can't even remember. But it was just warm. It was just warm enough that I knew I wouldn't be, going, oh God, my feet are wet or my legs are wet, and it wasn't like that at all. I was also trying to get Charlie, in and used to the water.
Yeah.
Um,
So we'll just have a few comments come in here. Sorry, I was neglecting my chatting about the. Um, Sarah says um, that she likes imagery too, and she said her husband passed suddenly at Christmas. Sorry to hear that. And so much has changed and is changing. And just to be careful with yourself, there's a lot of change, a big process there of changing. And Noreen is saying sorry for her loss.
So that's a real change in landscape there, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
life is very different. Yeah.
And Sarah was saying, thank you very much. I wonder why your comment makes me cry. A question for the ladies. I'm not sure what comment was that the comments of others saying that their thoughts are with you. Um, and Vicky is saying that she's had 2 losses since Christmas and one this week, and that she's very upset and sick.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well at the moment, our ability to grieve in the manner that we were accustomed to has been taken from us. And we don't have the holding that kind of grieving used to give us. So it's I don't know if that fits for either of the ladies, but it can be quite isolating when you can't have
So,
the people around you.
yeah. So Sarah said she was wondering why the comments made her cry. And it was, yes, it's the sympathizing from the other people in the group that have really touched her. That have, now they're my words, now, Sarah, that you've been touched by them. But if you're crying because of their words, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together that somewhere it's touching you. That
And I love that word touching, because you're thinking like, well, what does that mean in reality? What does it mean to be touched by somebody's words? And I think it is just that somebody else's experience and your experience almost touch each other, that they're maybe so alike, so similar. Yeah, you know.
Because a loss is universal.
Yeah.
And again, Vicky giving her condolences to Sarah. Noreen is also offering her sympathies to Vicky. So there's a lot of outpouring here in the background. Geraldine has joined us, and she's going, it's very difficult, and take care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah was saying the acknowledgement is touching her.
Yeah.
Of her loss. And Noreen is going, a loss is universal. Beautiful statement, Maeve, yeah. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a bereavement, but there's so many different types of loss. And I know that we hold the space here for you, but it's also to kind of see if you can reach out and get some space held for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Around this. It's like, in other words, like, yeah, that's one of the things. Geraldine to say, I said Geraldine has just joined us, but she said, I've been here all the time, Maeve.
I knew that, Geraldine. I knew you were, Geraldine. I just knew that you weren't commenting necessarily. Yeah.
And she says that she wouldn't miss us. Sorry, Geraldine. Sorry about that. That's me told.
There you go. But you're very good to take care of the comments, Maeve. I know there's multitasking that you're doing.
So, and Geraldine is saying, thank you for holding the space. And Vicky is saying that she wouldn't miss us for the world.
Oh.
And I like this place as well. You know, I get to see Frances and I get to see all the familiar gang in the background and meet up with new people that are joining us.
Yeah.
And
lovely,
even the people that are watching us on catch up. How is it going? It's lovely to have you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lovely way to bring our live session to a close today, Frances.
Yeah. Enjoy today.
Yeah. And we had no idea what was going to, how the day.
Really none.
Where we used to be online together for about 15 minutes before we go, okay, what are we going to talk about? Or we'd be emailing each other before the sessions. And
I know.
And there's something lovely about the organic way that this space opens up every time we make it.
In the moment stuff.
So thank you, everybody, for sharing these moments with us. And we will be back in another 2 weeks, say, Frances. We'll have a look at the diaries after we go offline. We'll send a note. Yeah. And thank you for joining us for these few moments. Noreen was saying, it just evolves. It's lovely. Yeah, it is. It's lovely. Till the next evolving.
Yes, looking forward to it. Yeah. Thanks,
Vicky, yeah, thank you. And Vicky says, see you in 2 weeks. Look after yourself, Vicky and Sarah, and everybody.
Yeah. And everybody, mind themselves.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Fly says goodbye.